I was a catcher for so long.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I got really, really good at it. And playing baseball, it was my life. It's what I loved to do. And I was introduced to a darker love. And
it took over everything. That is, yeah.
Let's be honest about recovery.
The rewards, the challenges.
Let's talk about our failures.
We are flawed people, after all.
Let's challenge the stigmas that weigh us down.
Because while most of us are looked at,
Few of us are seen.
Let's talk about addiction.
And how Christ overcomes our weaknesses.
Because we are loved.
because we are loved.
Because we are loved.
We are loved.
We are
Because
loved.
we are loved.
My name's David, and this is my lovely wife, Sarah. We are high school sweethearts, and it hasn't always been that way. We lived a short life of addiction there in the beginning. It got rough. We split up, actually got divorced, but God had other plans that brought us back together.
This is our story.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Jesus Loves Addicts. We're glad you're here today. We are fortunate to have Sarah and David with us to tell their God story. And just the redemptive powers. I don't like that word for it. Just the redemptive nature of our Lord, right? It's just who He is, right? It's just
His character.
Yes, I love that, right? And so, another redemptive story. And David was caught up in his addiction for about 16 to 17 years. And I'm curious to get to. I love the way you described it, Sarah. Your own involvement in drugs almost sounds like. It may have been, and this is kind of a question statement that we'll get to, but the way you described yours was about 4 years long. It almost sounds like you were just sort of maybe assimilating into what was natural in this relationship. And so it was just right. So I'm curious to hear how that came. And, but yeah, from high school till now, you guys have been together a long time. Before we quite get there, tell us a little bit about your individual home lives prior to meeting each other. What was
Where you came from.
Yeah.
Who wants to start?
Sure, I'll go first now.
He'll start.
Well, I'm definitely a local guy. I was born in Pascagoula, so I'm very familiar with all of this area. I never really veered too much away from it. All of my family's here, so it's where I've been. So, like I said, grew up in Pascagoula. After grade school, moved into Giudice, and that's probably whenever a lot of the life started to happen.
the addiction life?
Correct. Yeah. So
Through making new friends.
right. Well, I was always athletic growing up, so I was in sports. Played baseball for 16 years altogether. I really had a passion for it. I thought that's what I was going to do, but God had other plans.
Yeah.
And growing up, I'm one of 5 of my mom's kids, so. I had 2 older brothers, 2 younger sisters. So as a middle child, it was a little
smack in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Now you said your mom's kids.
Well, mom and dad, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if that was from previous
Were they
marriage
both
or
in the
anything,
home?
So.
Well,
Both parents?
we have we all share the same mother.
Okay.
But we have different
Different
dads.
father, okay.
My 2 older brothers have a different dad.
Okay.
So. Growing up, I watched a lot. They had a rough life, in and out of trouble, training centers,
Your brothers?
mental rehabs. Yeah.
Okay.
Had a bit of a rough patch. So I was always considered the good son.
Yeah.
And I think more so it's just that I never got caught.
Yeah. I think that's it for a lot of people.
Yeah. I think I don't think we grew up in like a chaotic home. I think it was more so because my mom and dad they taught us good morals. I mean, just like everybody, we all make wrong decisions or bad decisions at times, and they made their share of them for sure.
Yeah.
But
were you close to those 2 brothers, or was there like distance?
Jeremy, my oldest brother Jeremy, he was the one that was most off. He was the one that was away most of the time.
Yeah.
He did his own thing. Brandon and I, we were a little closer.
What's the age difference with y'all?
Jeremy was born in 77. Brandon was born in 80. I was born in 82.
Okay.
So.
It's interesting you mentioned that your parents taught you good morals. There's a line in a movie that I watched one time, and it sticks with me. It says, the devil's not afraid of good morals. Good morals don't trouble him. What he's afraid of is us attributing them to faith in Christ. When we pin the tail on that donkey, on Christ, then he's offended. He could care less if you're a nice guy or a good person. So you'd mentioned something interesting. Was your home life, so there were good morals, was that faith-based, or was that kind of a non-issue? Or?
Well, we did not go to church. I was introduced to the idea of Christ and the idea of God through my dad's mother, and I would go to church with her in the late 80s, early 90s. She passed away in 1994, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it was 1994 that she passed away. It was really hard on family, But I really enjoyed going to church with her. So that's where I learned who Christ was, and that's what kind of set the tone. So I've always been a believer, but there was never a relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
There was.
You
never
believed what you
consistent.
were told. You this is truth.
Well,
but it wasn't heart.
Right. Well, my grandmother. I mean, she's my grandmother. So if she's doing it and she's telling me,
it's got to be right.
It's got to be right. And so my dad was never involved in any kind of drugs. He's always, I think drinking is kind of the thing that drove my mom and dad apart. So they ended up divorcing, I guess, in the right around 2000, the year 2000. And that's when everything just kind of went.
Now, I'm assuming the two older boys also had addiction issues. Is that true?
Correct.
Okay. What about parents? And any of the parents, any drinking or drugging issues?
My mom and dad were, excuse me, my mom and dad were alcoholics.
Okay.
I don't think it was always like that.
Yeah.
A lot of my younger childhood, there was never, they hid everything from us. So we didn't know of any arguments that they may have had. We didn't know of their drinking, or if there were anything else, smoking weed or anything like that.
Nothing ever came to y'all's attention.
Right. I mean, they always did it behind closed doors or away from us. So as far as my younger teenage years, I wasn't aware of anything. Well, my mom and dad were in a rock and roll band together. So with that kind of environment, it's not just at the bars, but they would practice at home.
Sure.
So we had always had like gatherings and parties, if you will, that my parents would have, or it would be a practice that turned into a
party.
A party. So
that's when did you become aware that there was an issue here? Was that in your youth somewhere, or is that hindsight?
My early, well, probably mid-teenage years, 14, 15 years old. That's whenever I started to notice the drinking, because mom and dad, you could tell that there wasn't. You could just tell their relationship was lacking intimacy, and.
Was that lack of intimacy just between them, or was it also a difficult, intimate connection to parent to child?
My dad, me and my mom have always been close. Always. Yeah. Even through a lot of my later years, which we'll talk about that, I'm sure, soon. But my dad, he's always been a little reserved. He wasn't the type to really show much affection.
So When did you get in? Because it sounds like you were around it all your life. When did you actually get introduced to the use of drugs and alcohol? When did you first dabble?
Well, believe it or not, before I even got out of grade school, I can remember being I think I was in the 5th or 6th grade. I got busted at recess smoking cigarettes. So I think that's where it kind of started.
Yeah.
And then started off with the cigarettes. It was always a gateway.
Yeah.
And then one thing led to another. I can remember times when I used to trade. My friend's dad used to stash his pot, and I used to trade his dad's weed for cigarettes.
You wanted the cigarettes.
Yeah, well, I had no idea about it. I mean, I didn't have a clue. I just knew that my neighbor, he wanted it. So
And it worked.
Well, and that young too. I think that the nicotine alone probably gives a little kid like that enough of a rush that know. So it's just
if it doesn't make you throw up.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
So it started in grade school with cigarettes. When did it convert to something other than that? When did you make that transition?
When I moved, when I was in junior high.
Okay.
So in junior high, I got, I guess, one of the things our pastor says that really hits home is show me your friends, I'll show you your future.
Yeah.
I was fixing that. When you switched, you said you switched schools, and you would have been building a new friend group. And more than likely, it wasn't the best friend group for you.
Right.
Highlighting the wisdom of the biblical truth that bad company corrupts good morals, right?
Right. Yeah.
Well, I also went to that school, so I was like,
Well, it's sad because the friends that I actually the friendships that I began in junior high in Gaucher, they weren't necessarily bad kids. I think we were all being influenced in the same way, just by different people.
Yeah.
And so
I think that you're correct for sure.
Well, it's cool now how full circle things can be, because these same friends that it all started with, they're just now coming back into the picture, and wow,
That's cool.
Let me ask you a couple more questions, and we'll run your life up to this point, because I know you guys met in high school, right? So we'll. You said you were really good in sports. You were largely involved in sports. Did drugs and alcohol kind of rob that from you? Was that kind of the downfall of that, or was something else?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Your interest just became.
Yeah. I was not to toot my own horn, but I was a catcher for so long.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I got really, really good at it. And playing baseball, it was my life. It's what I loved to do. And I was introduced to a darker love, and
That's
it took over everything. That is.
So,
and you can't have both.
Right.
Yeah.
So one thing led to my life. Just got so busy with other things.
The pursuit. Yeah.
So.
Well, the enemy gets us through our busyness too, even now.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, Sarah, can you run us up to a parallel place there? Because I'm sure you guys. What grade did you guys meet in?
Well, let's see. I was probably, I don't know how many years I was in ninth grade, but I think I was the oldest. I think I might have been close to some of the teachers' age.
Yeah. So one of your freshman years, you met your wife. Is that right?
Right.
In one of your freshman. Okay.
So I have lived in Gaucher my whole life.
Okay.
Grew up here, played softball down at Buddy Davis Field a lot. That's kind of what I love to do as well. I know our story is kind of the same, but we didn't know each other at that point.
Y'all didn't meet
when we
playing
played
baseball and softball.
We didn't meet for sports or anything. We met because his house was the party house. It's where everybody went to, and had a group of friends, and we showed up and absolutely knew that I had googly eyes for this man right here. And that's where the drugs started for me, as he I say it's the party house, but everybody knew he could get, whatever. Like whoever was there was either smoking weed or meth was around, so we that's what the social drug was. I don't really know how to say it, but that's what we did. Like that was what we, and we still went to school.
Yeah.
We still woke up every day and went to school, maybe skipped sometimes.
This was meth. You are saying y'all were just doing meth.
Yeah.
Well, in the beginning,
Weed
it was
and meth,
they would come over, and we would when they came over, her and her friends, I would go and I would get them some weed.
Yeah.
So pretty much, and that was the what was the word you just used as far as the common drug?
Yeah. Yes.
That's what kind of started it all.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it was when I dropped out of school. So I dropped out in the 9th grade. I think it was only 2 years in the 9th grade. So it was 2 in the 7th, 2 in the 9th. And my second year in 9th grade is when I dropped out. And I can remember her taking the driver's ed card to my house with the driver's ed teacher now. So, but not for that. She was just coming to visit. But
that's funny.
But yeah, that's kind of what started. And then once I dropped out, that's whenever everything changed.
Yeah.
And I didn't have like a bad home life. I mean, my parents did divorce. I don't remember. Maybe I was 12 or 13 when they divorced. It was kind of a rocky divorce. My dad stayed local. We moved in with my mom. I have 2 older sisters. We moved in with my mom, and then my dad decided, I think he went to North Dakota. So he kind of left the state, and that's where he moved. So I didn't have the dad in my life for a long time, but he didn't lose touch, like he lived up there and everything, but he didn't.
Y'all still
we still talked
He didn't,
and things like that. So I wouldn't say it was anything drove me to want to smoke weed or do drugs or anything like that. It's just
it still had to
what
have
we
a feeling,
did,
though.
like it's I don't know.
Well, it's interesting you say nothing drove you, and I excuse me. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like what you're really saying is there was no traumatic event but were the googly eyes part of what drove you? Like you were just trying to connect with him, right? So it's the peer pressure, right?
I like weed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think at one point he had a girlfriend. I was still like, that's my man, and he don't know it, He
doesn't know, but he's going to be mine.
Yeah. So we came over a lot with our friend group. We hung around the same friends after that. Came over, smoked weed. That was the hangout place.
Yeah.
And that's what we did.
I'd like to take a moment to recognize a major podcast sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by America's Thrift Stores, your go-to option for decluttering and giving back. If you have a closet bursting at the seams or a garage that's seen better days, we've got the perfect solution for you.
That's right. America's Thrift Stores makes it easy to clear out the clutter and make a positive impact in your community. Whether you're cleaning out your wardrobe, downsizing your living space, or just looking to give back, America's Thrift Stores has you covered.
And here's the best part. You've got options. Schedule a hassle-free home pickup, drop off your items at one of their convenient donation sites, or swing by an America's Thrift Store to donate in person. No matter which way you choose, you're making a difference.
Absolutely. Every donation you make to America's Thrift Stores directly benefits charities in your area, such as the Home of Grace and other fantastic organizations dedicated to helping those in need.
For example, donations made to America's Thrift Stores in southern Mississippi help the Home of Grace provide support and assistance to individuals facing drug and alcohol addiction. Your contributions make a real impact on their mission to provide freedom from addiction through Christ-centered recovery. So not only are you decluttering your life, but you're also helping build a stronger and more supportive community.
It's truly a double blessing. So what are you waiting for? Clean out that closet, clear out that garage, and make a positive difference in your community by donating to America's Thrift Stores.
Visit America's Thrift Stores online to schedule a home pickup, locate a donation site near you, or get directions to one of their store locations.
America's Thrift Stores, where giving back never goes out of style. Was there ever like any confrontation from your mom or your sister saying, "Hey, we think you're doing X, Y"? Like,
no, my mom worked at a casino, like swing shift, so she was rarely at the house. Like, that was that overnight swing shift. So I pretty much just
didn't have any supervision.
Yeah, I left the home and we rode around a lot, smoked weed, thinking we were invisible.
No one would know.
You know, like, and that I don't even know how, because when I smell it nowadays, I'm like, how did we ever think that nobody could smell it on us, or even like, think that we were
now
doing
we can
anything.
smell it going down the interstate, and I'm like, oh, my
Mom,
gosh.
did you know? Like, the whole time,
They
like,
had to
it's
have
just, and it's I don't know.
So were either of your parents users or anything like that? Nothing, just nothing in the home. No, none of your sisters. So this was okay. So this was a love affair introduction to the peer thing. But that's so prominent and it's so powerful. And I think sometimes we don't understand how subtle, right? I mean, this wasn't somebody going, you need to use.
No.
It was just, he uses. I like him. This might be an in. And there's this subtle pressure in school. I mean, it's so devious.
Most of our friends smoked. So, I mean, it was kind of the common thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was also, it's this mindset of, what are y'all going to do on the weekend? Mm-hmm. And the answer was a lot of times became, what substance are you going to do this weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying now as parents and grandparents, but if our 15 and 16-year-olds were discussing which substance they were going to do, we'd definitely be reacting.
Right.
And I was also going to ask, so if your house is the hangout house and you're not 18 yet, and you do have younger sisters in the home, did your parents just out of sight, out of mind? Like, they had to see a lot of traffic.
Right. Well, when Sarah and I started dating, I was 17. I think I was 17 when we first started dating. And at that time, my mom had left my dad for a meth cook. So that's what kind of started everything.
Yeah, we missed that.
When that happened, my dad he went straight off the deep end.
Yeah. What was he doing?
They were already alcoholics. So, I mean, that was their thing. They would go through a half-gallon Canadian Mist a day between the two of them. I mean, they were hardcore alcoholics. Yeah. They were very functioning alcoholics. And when my mom left my dad the way that she did, it crushed him.
Didn't that crush you?
Of course. But at the same time, I was close to my mom. So the meth thing had already started. They didn't really know too much about it. It was a group of guys that I got in. I just started hanging out with, and it all started out with buying Pseudoephedrine. I started buying Sudafed. I figured out the benefit from it. I didn't have to spend any money. All I had to do was go get it and bring it back, and I would be rewarded for it. So it was easy to get high for free and to make a little money on the side. But the more involved I got, the deeper it got. I started understanding how much money could be made from it. And it got pretty wild, because then we found out that there were ways to get people to do certain things by the way that you made it. So I mean, it got pretty critical, and in the beginning, Sarah and I were pill shopping together. We would go get the pills together. We would come back. We would get high, and that was very short-lived. When the meth came in the deal, that's when she and I had made that decision that we were both going to stop, because we had friends of ours that were noticing differences in us that obviously we couldn't see.
Yeah, we are definitely blinded to the changes, the darkness, all of it.
It's interesting that was meaningful to you, though, right? Because a lot of times that's not, once those changes start to happen, that becomes meaningless. But let me ask you a question. Was your, you said you were a good catcher. I'm assuming that comes with some high school notoriety. Did that make it easier for you to, did your reputation as a player make it easier for you to get what you wanted, or did it not play in at all? Did you have?
Well, it was. It definitely it heightened that level of popularity. So with that popularity, excuse me, it attracted a crowd. And
you had influence.
Well, the parties that I had weren't just parties. We're talking hundreds of people in our front yard. The bathtubs full of alcohol, sinks full of alcohol. We had live bands inside, live bands outside. You couldn't even park down the driveway, a long dirt driveway. Couldn't even park. I can remember my dad coming back from him and my mother at the casinos, and I can remember him not even being able to, he had to park on the road and walk down the driveway.
His own house.
He was, that was a night.
The reason I asked that question, I'm curious about your feedback on this, is because I think sometimes parents maybe even naively consider healthy interests, and what I'm about to say there is some truth to, but not entirely. I think they see, my son's in sports, my daughter's in sports, band, whatever, healthy. They see that as a protective factor. Yeah. And again, there is some truth to that, but the reality is it's just a different distraction. It can go in a protective way, but in itself, it is not protective. It can just as easily be the popularity connection that makes access to the dark love, as you called it, even more easily attained, right? Would you agree with that? I mean, is that...
Sure. Absolutely.
Yes. I think, what would you say parents really need to, I'm going to get you, what should they really be looking at? It's not just the activity that they're involved in. It's what?
I would say the behavior. You're gonna, obviously, me being a father of two now, I was able to notice, because maybe I've been through. So it's been so fresh. It still feels so like not so long ago, if that makes sense. So watching them grow up and being absent in their in the years that they were, I guess, really starting to be a sponge and absorbing everything that's happening around them. I wasn't there for all that.
Yeah, that's hard for you. Yeah. You have good relationships with them now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How much of their life did you miss behind it?
Well, it seems like a lot more than what it was.
Yeah.
But
which speaks to your heart as a dad.
5 years.
5 years, yeah.
Altogether.
So the behavior, I agree with you. I think looking at the behaviors are certainly a tell. But I think you mentioned it earlier. It's really, parents need to pay attention to the connections.
Who their children are spending time with.
Yeah.
And the parents of the children that they're spending time with.
Yeah. Those connections are so telling. More than the activities they're involved in, more than the behaviors, because by the time you see the behaviors, it could be, you're probably well on your way to a long battle back, right? So really pay attention, I would say, to the connections. And that's, both of you have spoken to that being kind of really what brought you hard and heavy into that scene, right? So you drop out of school in your second ninth grade. Do you finish?
I do.
You finish, okay.
I graduated, and our first, our little daughter, she was 3 months old at our graduation. So
Okay, so you were in your senior year
Y'all
when
had
you
got
had your
married,
first.
or y'all had her, and
we had her.
Okay,
That's where the decision was made. Whenever we made that decision to stop drugs and stop that lifestyle, it was because we were pregnant, and which I didn't know. I just thought I was sick and going. Mom's like, "You're gonna I'm gonna take you to the hospital, and we're gonna get you a pregnancy test." And I immediately felt like, "Oh, that could be an option." Like I guess I thought I was just like had the flu or something, and the doctor came in, and I just immediately just grabbed my mom. I knew it, and that's where our daughter Caitlin, that's where she was 3 years old. I'm sorry, 3 months old.
Yeah.
So I did graduate and finished.
You graduated when?
2002.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then the next one came how long after?
2005.
Okay. And so during the first ones, when you stopped using, and that is actually your sobriety day, you have no relapses after that, and you same or?
Well, that was the time that she held her commitment, and I never did. That's when my life of deception began.
Okay.
Did you think he was not using?
I was so still in love with this man, but I think not that I didn't know, I just didn't want to believe it,
to acknowledge it.
and acknowledge it, even though the signs were there,
I do, because if I acknowledge it, then I might have to act, and I don't know what that act will look like.
Yeah.
And I don't know that in that situation, I don't know that you ever took a deep breath that didn't feel heavy. Does that?
Yeah, like you said, for our kids, the behaviors. Were the behaviors there? Absolutely. But then you ask them, as the wife, you ask them like, "Hey, babe," and we have this conversation, and you believe what he says because he's your husband, right?
And that's what you want to believe.
Absolutely. And so it's the same with the kids.
Yeah.
Like the words can be twisted so much that you have to look for the actions. 100%.
Did you guys get married between baby one and baby two?
Yes. No, Austin. So it was after baby two.
Okay.
We got married the first time. I think he was maybe 2 years old. So it would have to have been like 2007 or something like that. It's so hard to remember back in those days. I struggle with dates. But it was around that time. I just remember a picture on Facebook of my son in a little tuxedo dancing on his leg, or my dad's, like one of them, like he holding on. So I know he was small.
Yeah.
And he had to have been maybe two, maybe one, maybe two.
When you guys got married. And so how many years did this deceptive lifestyle go on within that first marriage? I think it's interesting.
Well, I would like to add that when we did get married the first time, this was it was just a spontaneous decision. It wasn't anything planned or thought out. We went to the justice of the peace and we got married.
Yeah.
So a very important detail. But I'm sorry, your question?
Well, how long after that, like how long during that first marriage
Did you carry
was
that
there
on?
this deceptive quality that you were carrying on?
Well, it was throughout the entire time.
Throughout the entire first time. And is that, because I'm curious, because you guys shared that there's a divorce that happens and then you guys remarry.
Yeah.
So did that divorce largely come about because you began to wake up to what was going on, or what happened there? No. What happened
You didn't
there?
wake up to what was going on, or you didn't confront it?
It did not. That's not what the divorce triggered, or whatever you want to call it. Like, I guess we can kind of tell that part now. Did you want to tell it? Or?
Well, see, you said as far as the deception goes,
Yes.
throughout our first marriage.
Yeah.
There was any time that this would kind of bring so much truth to what we commonly know as the light, or the darkness always comes to light. So when there's deception, one lie, if you tell one, you always have to. I mean, it's one leads to another. So I think it started off with let's just say this that. Later on, close because I've always kept a job, but never anything promising, never anything that was sustainable.
Yeah.
We always lived check to check because of my habits, and it wasn't because of her habits, because she didn't smoke cigarettes, she didn't smoke pot, she didn't do anything else. It was me. Now, she knew of the pot, she knew of the cigarettes, and so those were two of my habits. And so the deception started whenever the commitment started, right? So I was still making meth behind her back, and anytime you're doing that, I'm sure everyone knows who's been involved in that there's really no hiding. So although it took her a while, I don't want to say it took her a while, but it took her, let's just say it took her a while before she made it known that she's not, Yeah, so she would find things like around the house or under the house.
Were you making it in the house?
I have.
Yeah.
But it wasn't something that I did often.
Yeah.
It's just whenever you're under the influence, like you don't really, your morals are out the window.
Yeah. And logic.
You don't have any.
I was like a husband and a father on autopilot, if you will. It's like when she was at work, I would be there to get the kids off the bus, but I wouldn't meet them at the bus, so they would have to come to the house or something like that. And then it was I wasn't a dad to them. There wasn't no making sure that they were fed on time. There wasn't no helping them with their homework. There wasn't, all that kind of went out the window whenever that life of addiction started, as far as with methamphetamine.
Yeah.
Well, because meth is your children, meth is your wife, it is your job, it is everything.
All your thing. That's
all you can do.
Yeah.
And you're making it, selling it, and using it. Yeah.
And what kind of drove us further apart? Again, it was all rooted in the deception.
Sure.
And so I had no idea. I was miserable because she was miserable. And so in my mind, this is the way I was thinking. I have a full-time job. I don't feel like I'm a bad father. I feel like my kids love me. I'm not abusive to my kids. I'm faithful to my wife. I go to work. I come home. I do my thing behind her back, and see these are things that I'm not including. Yeah, I'm justifying. So I didn't realize.
That bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Before we go any further, let's take a minute to address the man or the woman listening to today's episode and wishing for a better life. Or maybe addiction has completely overtaken a family member or a friend.
You are not alone. As you may know, the Jesus Loves Addicts podcast is produced by the Home of Grace, a Christ-centered addiction recovery program in South Mississippi with over 60 years of experience.
The Home of Grace has residential programs ranging from 30 days to 12 months. With 2 separate campuses for men and women, they are fully staffed with caring individuals who want nothing more than to guide you to a life of recovery.
Services include individual and group counseling, marriage and family counseling, classes, workshops, GED, and workforce training, all grounded in biblical principles.
And because of donations from the community, the cost of the program is incredibly affordable.
Thousands of alumni from across the country can tell you there is no other program in the world quite like the Home of Grace.
If you want to start a new path to recovery, don't wait. Speak with an admission specialist today. Visit homeofgrace.org or call 833-55-GRACE to talk with someone.
That's 833-55-GRACE. Call the Home of Grace today.
So I didn't realize at that time that I was turning her into who she was. See, I couldn't have any friends over. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't even take my kids with me to the store if I wanted to, because she was at that point that something was going to happen. She
wasn't going to risk them with you.
Right.
So you're starting to get more protective because intuitively you know something's going on and you're not getting the truth.
Yeah.
In your eyes, she's becoming a nag because she's ruling your life and you just want to live that chaotic, selfish lifestyle, right? Would that be fair to say? Yeah.
And it's deceiving to you in the moment because it is telling you that you're not that bad, because there's always going to be someone that you can look and say, that's what's bad. So I'm not because I don't do X, Y, and Z. And I'm convinced that we believe it.
Yeah.
Like pass a lie detector test. Truly believe it. That's my truth.
Yeah.
Well, on top of that is we still see ourselves as who we were.
Yeah.
So we're still seeing the innocent us.
Yeah.
And, the good morals that we were taught by our parents in the beginning before all this. That's still how we see ourselves. So I'm seeing myself as a genuinely good-hearted person, not by what I'm doing or what I'm speaking, but by
you're still the catcher that your grandmother took you to church.
Right.
Nothing's changed. That's
So that's the way I'm seeing things.
Yeah.
And whenever she's to this point now where the deception has she's depressed all the time. She's always on edge. I can't have any family over. Can't have any friends over. No barbecues. And there was I couldn't. I had to go to work, come home.
Yeah.
And so I was miserable to the point. I think it was. Excuse me. 2000 and probably 2009, somewhere around 2009.
That's right. Yeah.
2009 is I was working at a restaurant in Ocean Springs, and it was Applebee's, and I was a cook there because I cooked at several different restaurants. So cooking was my thing. Other than I did a lot of construction work too, which there was a lot of drug use involved there as well.
Well, both those fields, right? Restaurant and construction.
Yes. Well, I worked for Professional Roof Systems in New Orleans, so that's when the crack cocaine really, and she didn't know about that too much.
So you were also smoking crack?
Oh yeah. Well, anything
at that point.
Yeah, it didn't matter. And then soon after that's whenever I started shooting up, and then so because of who I turned her into, I was done. I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I went to work one night and I'd met this woman, and she was a waitress there, part-time. She was going to school. She was going to be going to school to be a teacher. She was a Catholic school teacher, and so in my mind, it's the way the enemy works. She looked like everything that I thought that I wanted. She treated me like I wanted to be treated at that time, and I didn't know her. I just knew how I was feeling in that moment, and it all started with 3 words from her: "What's your story?" And so we had a couple of times when we never. We just talked, and then one night, I was like I said, I was up to here on what I thought was right, and so I was driving her car, and illegally too, because I didn't have a driver's license at all. I never had one. I was late 20, 28, 29, something like that, and so I went to work, came home, pulled in the driveway, left a note in the seat, the keys.
Wow. So a dramatic departure.
Never went back. I told.
It grieves you now, though, I can see it, yeah.
Well, it was hard.
Yeah. But the evidence of a redeemed heart, right? What we're seeing there. So,
well, I told her, I was like, look, don't come try to find me.
Yeah.
it's not going to do any good. I was done, but.
Not that this needs to be asked, that we can guess, but what was that moment like for you?
Oh, even wrap my mind around that.
So I remember that morning. So I woke up and he wasn't in the bed, and the kids woke me up and were asking where he was. So I seen the car out there, and I went and I looked and seen the keys and a note, and I read it, and my first reaction was, I'm going to go find this man. Like, this is, you wouldn't know. We're family. We've been through a lot. Like, I'm going to go find you, even though that's what it said. He's like, don't come look for me, you know? And so I went to one place. I went to his dad's place, which was right down the road. And he wasn't there. And I just kind of looked in the back seat, and my kids were with me. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to go look for him. It was like an automatic peace, knowing that I'd hate to use the word relieved, but it needed to happen.
Yeah. You were living in a war zone.
Yeah.
I mean.
So we just went home, and I called my mom and packed up everything and moved back in with her.
That feels like a very, I mean, they all are, so this is a statement of the obvious, but it feels like an especially poignant God moment for you, because I would think that what comes naturally to you is the finding him.
Yeah,
I'm going to pursue this, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That peace that came over you and said no, that seems very God-inspired.
It definitely was. You know, I didn't mention it before, but I did grow up in a Methodist church here. My parents, we went to church. We knew of church. Like I didn't have a relationship with God like I do now, but I knew of church. Like we went there, people knew us. And so when I moved back in with my mom, I knew immediately where I was going. I can't describe it. I wanted to have my kids around people who I knew would give them that love and support. And I definitely had it from my mom. My mom's absolutely amazing, and took us in, and just still to this day, you know, it's that strong Nana, that strong woman. So to get involved in church there, I knew that's where I needed to be and to get involved.
I love that, because I think about the defining nature of peace in the Bible. It's not a peace that's explained by our circumstances. It's a peace that it goes beyond our circumstances. It's in spite of our circumstances. Right. And so you were hurting, but yet there was a peace in you. It didn't take the pain away.
It didn't.
But right, so that's just such a great description of that. I'm sorry that you had to experience that, but it's such an interesting description of that peace that surpasses understanding, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and when you looked at your kids.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I can't take them around banging on doors looking like a crazy person. Yeah. You know, you can't. You just look at them and you're like, okay, we're going back home. And
I don't even know, like, so you've moved home where you're living with your mom, but what does that process look like for y'all's children?
Like multiple, I mean, questions. Of course, the questions were there, and I didn't have the answers because I couldn't call him. I didn't know where he was. I just was like, hey, focus, and this is what we're going to do, and we're going to go live with Nana, and we're going to figure it out. And when your dad's ready, I'm sure he'll reach out, because he loves his kids, you know. I knew that he wouldn't just abandon them forever, you know.
It's so interesting, isn't it? We talked about your deception, but really that's just under the influence of the enemy's deception, right? And that's I would argue that's probably how 95% of most affairs start, as they become emotional affairs, right? We feel connected. We feel like we're getting something. We're not at home but we don't see our own destructive nature as how we destroyed that connection at home, right? We just see, oh, this person gets me.
Yeah.
When really it's the person at home that probably gets you, right? They're the ones that get you more. And then we step into some action that betrays our character, right? She's saying, I know this man loves his kids and all this stuff, So how long did this separation last? How long was it before you reached out for your kids?
Well, it's funny that she said that, what she said about that peace that come over her, but there was still hurt.
Yeah.
And because it's divine, I'm not allowed to use the word crazy. So it's divine that I had the same feeling. Because it was almost, in hindsight, there was a detachment, a feeling. I couldn't sleep for not easy for months. I mean, my heart was hurting.
Yeah.
And it was to the point to where I went back, and this was before she had packed up and left. And I can remember driving to where I once lived with her, and I pulled up on the side of the road. And we were living in a trailer right in Gaucher here. And, a lot of the trailers, they have that like diamond glass cut in the window. And I can remember walking up the steps, and I looked through the window, and Sarah was sleeping on the couch. I wanted to go. I wanted to go in there so bad and just hold her, because I like I said, I loved her, but I just didn't like the way that we were living. And you get to that boiling point, especially whenever you have no idea that you were the cause. And you were saying that this was the attack of the enemy, but that's the relationship with Christ speaking right there. So with our flesh, and we're living in our flesh with no idea of who God really is. We blame ourselves. It's us. So this is our deception at this point. It's not. There's no. What is the word I'm looking for? I guess truth, for lack of better words, that this is the enemy. Because there is no enemy at this time, because there is no relationship with God. So there's no concept of good and evil as far as spirituality.
No concept of it, but he's there. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
But I didn't see my kids, and I walked around, and they were both sleeping in my bed, and I wanted to walk in there so bad, but I knew that I'd be walking right back in to what I walked away from. And little did I know that it wasn't time for me to go back yet.
You weren't done.
Hey, everybody. Hope you enjoyed part 1. Believe me, it's just getting started. So tune in next week for part 2. Thanks so much.